Back here at New Canaan High School, the site of the 2010 Joe Sikorsky FCIAC Championship, and it's been an exciting day so far, and we are very pleased to have joining us Nick Garofalo, the head coach from Fairfield Ludlow, and we saw you earlier in the year, and always a pleasure to have you. For your team, you get one guy into the FCIAC Championship. You got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way Mike wrestled today. Yeah. He executed all his moves. He really took matches to people, didn't really wait around, took destiny into those hands. He deserves being in the finals, and looking forward to seeing him wrestle later.
We'll see Mike Sheehan at 171 versus Duncan Cousins. Now we move into the 140-pounders. On your left, that's Brian Khzouz of New Canaan, 22-2. On your right, David LaBorda of Greenwich, 29-5. Now you're going to stay with us. You'll help out Steve with analyzing this a little bit.
This is Coach's tryout. Remember in the beginning of the year, he was like, "Hey, I want to be a broadcaster. You guys have any room for wrestling broadcasts? I want to be an analyst. You're trying to take my job. Here you go. Come on, let's go.
How we
little
do
tryout."
Okay. Sure.
Well, I'm sure you guys you're familiar with all these guys. You see them all year long, a couple years, and do you have any idea of what kind of, Khzouz, what kind of moves is he? What is he made of? What kind of style does he bring?
Well, he's a physical kid. He tries to use his strength. Likes to use throws a lot. He's going in on a nice fire carry dump here, trying to execute that, but LaBorda countered out of that by dropping his hips in and elongating his body. So that was a good attack in there, and LaBorda's a good technician. He's got some good single leg attacks and good shots, and there Khzouz is in on a single, but LaBorda's trying to counter and get behind. So, but still neutral. They're both good wrestlers. This should be a good match.
LaBorda from Greenwich, and I know you see a lot of green, a lot of black, and a lot of red out there. LaBorda has the white trim on the singlet. Khzouz in mostly black with the red trim.
LaBorda 34-6 this year.
Yeah, both guys are just looking to set each other up right now, try to create an opening, changing levels, trying to get guys out of their stances to attack. And when you have two good wrestlers like this, they're a little cautious in the first period, but there's been a good amount of attacking so far.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about for the last couple of matches. They see the best of the best, and they're not really used to seeing that all year.
Oh, it's a headlock, and he's got two. As I said before, Khzouz likes to use the upper body throws, and he scored a takedown with a headlock there right on the edge of the mat. He's not afraid to try and throw. He's got a lot of confidence in that.
Brian Khzouz will go up 2-0.
Khzouz 26-2 on the year. Very decorated wrestler, 72-20 overall in his career.
How has this FCIAC championship been in comparison to previous years?
Well, every year I think the level of wrestling has come up a bit, and I think this year it's come up a couple of notches. Not just here with guys that are in the finals, but also all around. All the medal place winners and all the wrestling has been quite excellent. A lot of these kids do a lot of wrestling in the off-season, a lot of training in the off-season with clubs, and also going to tournaments, non-high school tournaments in the off-season, and the level of wrestling has really progressed because of that.
Danbury has essentially had a stranglehold in Connecticut for so many years, and Fairfield Ward today with an opportunity to unseat them as one of the top teams and possibly take home the top honor in the team level. Are you surprised?
No, not at all. Jason Shaughnessy over at Ward's a great coach, and he's been building his program steadily over the years, and they've always challenged Danbury, but this year it has been a superior effort by their club, and they could pull this off. They still have a few more guys in the finals. I think it's still pretty close, but it's good to see, because Danbury has set the bar so high for wrestling in this area, and it's forced the other teams in the area to then chase them. And now Ward has this year gotten to a point where they're right nipping at their heels. So that's great to see.
This is actually the first match of the day that doesn't have a member from Danbury or Ward.
Ward, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty significant. That shows the strength of their schools.
LaBorda gets an escape point. Khzouz leads 2-1.
Yeah, both these guys are again on their feet, looking for an opening. They're both on a head tie. There's a chance at a single leg, a counter shot. And look at Khzouz. See what I mean about Khzouz? He likes the throws. He's not afraid to throw. He's kind of like a live by the sword, die by the sword kind of wrestler. So it's very exciting to watch. So he's up 2-1 here. Again, there's a lot of head tie action. They're just trying to hang on each other's heads, trying to move them around to make an opening. LaBorda seems a little cautious right here. He's down by a point. He should be attacking. Here comes an attack, but Khzouz, and now this is an opening for Khzouz to try to throw.
LaBorda is the top seed. Khzouz is the number 2 seed at 140. How did LaBorda get here? He won by decision in the quarters and a pin in the semifinals. Khzouz had a pin in the 3rd round, a pin in the quarters, and a decision in the semis.
Just step over.
Nothing doing, still
good
no
action
points there, yep.
A lot of flurrying, but no points scored. He's got 18 seconds here. He really needs to score.
Looks like we may have an injury. Poked in the eye a little bit.
Yeah, we got a little injury here. We got poked in the eye.
Now, when you have injury time, whether it's a serious injury, let's for argument's sake like this, say that it's not very much of a serious injury. You're a head coach. What are you talking about with your wrestler normally?
Well, if you know you got dual fold, you want to take care of the injury, but you can coach.
Right.
So you're trying to give him advice on how to proceed with the match. You try to make the best of it.
And take advantage of the opportunity that you get with him.
You know, over my years of covering wrestling, I think every coach always says that you feel so helpless.
There's a bear hug, nice bear hug here. And no, he was out. Did not get control before they went out. That was a good effort by LaBorda. Excuse me,
back to my point, it seems like many coaches tell me they kind of feel helpless once the match starts because their wrestlers are out there. And a lot of times, I know I've spoken to a lot of wrestlers that say, you know, for the most part, I don't even hear my coach talking to me during the match.
It's funny, you know, some wrestlers hear you quite easily and others don't hear anything, you know, and you just try to help the ones that hear you, you know. Whether they hear you or not, as a coach, you owe it to your wrestler to try to communicate with them. And you try to pick the times where you can say something that can help him.
Khzouz is on the bottom. LaBorda
My son hears everything I say.
Does he?
Yeah, but not every wrestler does.
That could be that father-son bond,
yeah,
too.
It could be. Mike Sheehan says he doesn't hear a thing, but everything I tell him to do, he does. I think he hears me subconsciously and doesn't realize it. But
well, they're in attack mode. There's not a lot.
And he's got an escape here.
So Khzouz will go up 3-1.
Well, he's in good shape here now to win the match. All he's got to do is not make a big mistake. LaBorda's got to open up. He hasn't attacked enough here. He's got it to see. Khzouz is not afraid.
It looks like he's attacking, just not getting it done. Khzouz is just doing a good job of just blocking it and reversing everything as pick up some back points.
Well, we are tied up at 3
and
now.
He's got the takedown. Oh, and he might get, whoa, he's looking for some back points here. Khzouz is going to get an escape. But stay on the mat, stay on the mat.
Getting into it, huh, Coach?
Yeah. I'm almost coaching here now. it's getting a little hot. Getting a little hot and heavy. Well, LaBorda had to score, and he did a nice job there to do that.
All right, so now Khzouz will be on the bottom. LaBorda will be on top. 40 seconds remain in this 3rd period.
This is going to come down to either an escape being scored or an overtime.
We've had a handful of very good matches today.
He's turned in. All he's got to do is break the hold, and he'll get 1 point.
20 seconds remain.
LaBorda trying to break the hold. If he can just break the hold, he'll get neutral.
Now final 9 seconds. We are tied up at 3. Can Khzouz break loose?
It's got a call for stalling. Wow. This is gonna go to overtime, guys.
Overtime period, 1 minute. First person to score wins.
Sudden death, yep. Unless he can hit a quick Granby or something, it's gonna go overtime.
All right,
Yep,
let's head to overtime.
Match.
You don't get paid extra for this.
I don't get paid extra. I was hoping for a bonus.
Coach Nick Garofalo from Fairfield Ludlow is joining us, Matt's side. And well,
this should be good.
Yeah, 3 periods was not enough. We will head to overtime.
First point to win. This could even score on a stalling point. If both guys have been hit for stalling. Here's a shot by LaBorda. It's a nice attack. Nothing yet, nothing yet. There's no control. He took him down. Now Khzouz is on an outside single. He's trying to score here. Changes to a double leg, but they're near the edge. They're gonna go out. It's gonna be, they're out. Wow, too good, a very good attack by LaBorda and a counter by Khzouz. And still no score. This is exciting.
Gonna restart back at the middle.
And LaBorda, like you said, been relatively quiet shooting-wise. Now aggressive in that overtime period. It really showed what he could do physically. Very strong and dominant with that single leg.
There's another attack by LaBorda, but Khzouz counters.
Again, we are in overtime. It is 3-3, 26 seconds remaining between Brian Khzouz and David LaBorda.
Khzouz is not afraid. He goes right in. He's on an inside single. He's trying to lift him. He goes to a trip. He puts him down on the ground. LaBorda's holding on. Khzouz needs to put him there. He's got the leg hooked. He's going to lift him. He's going to 4 seconds. This is tough. Nothing. Wow.
Let's keep it moving. We go to a second overtime.
Wow. Now this is 30-second periods here.
I mean, this is just physically and mentally draining for these two wrestlers.
Well, the last 2 days, what they've been through, and a whole year of competitive wrestling in Fairfield County, and it all comes down to this, not giving up.
Khzouz on the bottom, LaBorda on top. Now LaBorda essentially will try to ride out for 30 seconds. Khzouz just needs to try to escape.
Get neutral, shrug out of there. If he can get a shrug out and break clean, he can at least get one and go up in the match. There's 1 point. Now this is not sudden death, these 2 periods, so they're going to continue to wrestle.
So Khzouz takes a 4-3 lead. Khzouz takes a 4-3 lead. And we will head to our 3rd overtime. That's the way you break it down. You have 30 seconds in that second overtime, another 30 seconds, which would be considered a 3rd overtime.
Right. LaBorda now, he's got to choose down to get an escape right now.
Now, if you're LaBorda, you look up at the scoreboard and you see you trailing by 1. What's going through your mind right now, Coach?
Yeah, well, he's just trying to get some hand control and get to his feet and try to get escape. It's kind of a desperate situation, but it's amazing. You wrestle all year and it comes down to a 30-second period.
Now final 15 seconds of this 3rd overtime.
This is some great wrestling. The whole finals has been fantastic. You're either going to use speed or hand control to get a little separation here to get an escape. He tries to switch. Khzouz steps over. He's still in control. Still in control. 8-7 seconds to go.
LaBorda
gets a 1.
Trying to escape and does. Ties it up at 4.
Wow. He was right on the edge. He managed to get a little separation and hand control turned in. He's got to face his man totally to get an escape, and he did.
A match that just does not want to end.
Doesn't get much better than this. Now, he's won the toss, so he chose to go down. If he gets away, he scores and wins. If not, LaBorda will win.
The fourth overtime. LaBorda from
LaBorda
Greenwich
puts the
on.
legs in. He's trying to stay in control. 15 seconds to hold him down. I think LaBorda's going to pull this off. It's going to be very tough to get out of this leg ride. Khzouz does. Now he's looking. LaBorda's got good pressure on him. It's going to be tough to get out of here. No, LaBorda wins. What a great match. What a great match. That last period, you win the toss. He won the toss. He chose down. All he needed was an escape to win, and LaBorda needed to hold him down. What a great match.
So there you have it. We appreciate you joining us, Coach Garofalo.
Thank you very much, guys.
And good luck to Mike Sheehan later on in the day.
Okay, take care.
All right, we thank you very much, Coach Garofalo. David LaBorda wins in 4 overtimes at 140 pounds. That's your final point. So like Coach Garofalo said, all that needed to happen was either an escape or a hold. LaBorda is victorious.